Hi, Galactic family. I just want to come on here and talk about the data centers. Now, I don't know much about everything about the data centers, but I want to share with you on a dream I had. Um, and for those of you who don't know, I am a seer and I wouldn't call it prophetic dreams, but I ask God a lot of things and He revealed things to me in my dreams. And that is how I get messages and interpret a lot of things. So, this dream I had, I was in a high rise building um, in my apartment, and me and my sister was talking. It was at night, and I went to go in the living room, and like in my living room was this big giant grand window, so you can see like the whole entire city. So when I looked out the window, it was nothing but data centers lined up. It was no tree, there were no trees, there were no other buildings. It was just all data centers like lined up like other buildings. um and it was night, so it was lit up with, neon lights all around the data center buildings, and I was like baffled. I was just like, "Oh my gosh." And I was being told that it's a kind of radiation poisoning in the air. So the air is really, really toxic. And I was getting like pain on my skin from the radiation in the air coming from these data centers. Um, the the bad energy coming from these centers killed everything. It affected nature. It killed the fish. It polluted the water. It polluted the air. That's like number one. It polluted the air because you can feel it. Even when I was standing in the apartment, you could feel the air was like toxic. It was like almost burning. It burned my skin. It burned my throat. And it was just really strange. Um, and I don't know a lot about these data centers. I don't know what they're ultimately doing because I haven't looked on the news or anything like that. But that's just a dream that I had about them. And it's a kind of radiation poisoning. And it makes me really sad because this these centers are going to devastate um, just natural habitats. Like, it's going to destroy nature. It's already destroying communities and water and all that stuff. And that's just the dream and the visions that I was getting. Um, yeah. So these data centers, again, is a type of radiation poisoning. And it's not looking too good. Not for our planet and not for humans as a whole. So yeah, I just wanted to get on here and talk about that because it really hurts my heart, and I've just been really, really distraught, sitting here, really in my feelings and try not to cry because of how much I seen like in my dreams, and then because I really care about our planet, um, it just makes me sad because there's like no, I don't know. I just don't get why these people want to destroy our beautiful planet with these things. We just don't deserve. We don't deserve nature. We don't deserve anything. Like, and another dream that I had, which I already shared on my long form video, was the pollution and devastation of the oceans. Um, there will be complete devastation of our waterways coming very soon. I don't know how soon, but I've seen just muck. Like, picture the ocean, but all black. It was heavily polluted. it was not inhabitable. There was no wildlife left in the ocean. It was only a little bit of land. I'm sorry. I'm really emotional now. There was only like little parts of lands where the humans were left that was living on the land, and everything was destroyed. And it was a kind of water world, if I'm making sense, but it wasn't much of a world. It was just islands, like an island that was left of land that people were like living on because the water was toxic. And I keep getting these visions and these dreams of devastation, coming devastation. And it's so, oh my god, you guys don't even understand how it makes you feel. Like, I'm a studying marine biologist, and it almost feels like I'm doing this in vain because I see like future outcomes and what's going to happen, and I'm just like, and it's so funny I had those dreams because now we have the data centers, and it's just it all plays into each other. But yeah, I wanted to share that with you guys. But I hope you guys have a beautiful day and try to stay positive. I'm trying. So I went on TikTok and researched, well, typed in the search bar data centers to get more insight about it, and I found some really interesting videos. So I'm going to include the 3 videos that I found from TikTok for reference purposes. These videos are not mine. All credit goes to each creator on TikTok. I just want to put that out there. And again, I just did this tiny little research on TikTok because I don't know about the data centers. I had dreams and visions about it. So I just wanted to share a little bit more. And what I ultimately found on TikTok really disturbed me because it was the exact same things that was in my dream about it causing toxic water and affecting wildlife. And I just want to share this with you guys. For those of you who are concerned about the data centers that will be built and that will be replacing beautiful stretches of healthy wildlife areas. And it's just devastating because, like, why would you want to take, all those beautiful stretches of land for these chemically and man-made, but whatever, I digress, of course. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoy the video and let me know what you think.
Could a proposed data center near Billings affect our wildlife? Possibly, and here's why. So data centers could use up to 3 million gallons of water per day, which would reduce water availability for aquatic and wildlife animals. It does have a high energy demand, so they would have to use fossil fuels. Sources like the Colstrip coal plant could impact our air quality. This was very interesting. So data centers put out a low frequency vibration about 2.5 miles distance from. And what they're saying is animals don't like that frequency. It also affects their communication and their natural behaviors. It could affect humans as well, such as headaches, things like that. So think of it this way. They're saying if you live in about a 2.5 mile distance, it's like hearing a lawnmower just going off 24/7. So imagine your neighbors just mowing the lawn all day, all night, nonstop. What are your thoughts on this? I'd like to hear it.
I can't wrap my head around why AI data centers require fresh water. Why not?
Oh, pick me, I know. Okay, so they do reuse water, right? But once the water is so dirty, it can't run through these machines because it'll clog the machines. That's why they need fresh water. And the reason they're using so much is because these data centers get so hot that it's actually evaporating a lot of the water. So that's why they can't reuse water, and that's why they have to use fresh water. Although, go look into China and their data centers, they are using like windmills and not using water. So there is a better way to do it than the way we're doing it. But that's kind of the gist of why they need clean water and so much.
I have a jar right here. This is the current drinking water in Morgan County, Georgia. Right after a data center was constructed, the metadata center was constructed, the only difference between the clean water and this was that data center. Assistant Administrator Kramer, you are in charge of the Environmental Protection Agency's Office of Water, correct?
Correct.
And in your written testimony, you communicated a value that I think we all appreciate, which is that a top priority for EPA is ensuring continued drinking water safety, right?
Correct.
And this is a bedrock foundational value of the EPA, and it's one of the big reasons why it exists. And I also appreciate your commitment to clean water specifically. In fact, you said it very well on a MAHA action call just last month that, quote, when I turn the tap on and when every American turns the tap on, there should be confidence in what's in your drinking water. And I think that's a value that we all share. I wanted to ask you, while I have you here, if you've been receiving complaints or if you are aware of folks reaching out about data center construction impact on drinking water quality.
I am aware.
You're aware. And what are some of the things that you're seeing and hearing?
So one of, I think, the biggest concerns is related to water availability, which is why we recently relaunched the Water Reuse Action Plan 2.0 to focus on ensuring that whether it's yes. data centers or
anything about water quality, though?
I'm not aware of that.
Okay. Are there any complaints? I mean, are you observing any negative impacts on data center construction on water quality for Americans?
I don't think anything like that's been raised to my attention.
Okay. I would like to do so. A few weeks ago, while Congress was in recess, I visited Morgan County, Georgia, where Meta is building a massive data center campus. They are clear-cutting forests and began heavy construction, including explosive blasting. And families in the area are starting to see not only their water pressure decrease, to your point about water availability, but their appliances have all stopped working because it is decimating their water quality. They now rely on bottled water to drink and prepare meals, and nearby residents' water bills are expected to increase by 33%. In fact, I have a jar right here. This is the current drinking water in Morgan County, Georgia. Right after a data center was constructed, the metadata center was constructed, the only difference between the clean water and this was that data center. I have another one as well. So this wasn't just one well. These wasn't just one family's situation. This is what the drinking water now looks like next to that data center. And I think both of us can agree that neither one of these things are drinkable. These families now have to ship, in a rural area, have to ship water to their house in order to cook and bathe themselves. Now, I'm curious if the EPA plans any investigations on how data centers are affecting water quality and availability. I understand what you said about the rule, but are there going to be any open investigations on this issue?
So as soon as I get back to the office, I will be looking into exactly what you've just talked about, because anywhere, whatever type of construction it is a priority to ensure that water quality standards established by EPA are being met. And so we'll be looking into that certainly.
Thank you. I sincerely appreciate that because I think this is of utmost importance, and we're seeing this happening across the country. I'd also like to ask about the administration's push to build more data centers by fast-tracking construction. Because the administration's been issuing executive orders to fast-track data center construction when we know that water quality is encountering major issues. Are there any mandates for data centers to do water quality testing prior to construction?
Of like coming from a public water supply, drinking water supply sampling?
Wells, yeah.
I'm not aware of anything like that. However, it doesn't mean I'm just not aware of it. It might exist,
Yes,
but I'm not
of course. I think it's important that, you as an agency official, we have to make sure we're doing these investigations. And then us, on a congressional level, I'd like to note that I think it's of utmost importance that we also launch congressional investigations into this matter as well, so that we can partner with the EPA and ensure that the drinking water for this country continues to be safe and accessible for the American people. So thank you, Administrator.
Thank you.